I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Hunter, and this is the
Family Showdown!
Howdy, folks. Welcome back to my top 100 games of all time. I'm Hunter. This is Rebecca. I'm running out of things to say. My executive in charge of all grammar.
Boy, do I have a job to do.
Take a look at my list. This is the middle of the best.
The middle of the best?
My 30 to 21. Let's take a little
okay.
peek here. We got two new games.
Okay.
Looks like we
that's
got two games that went up. So that leaves what, 6 games went down? 6 games I hate more now.
That's interesting. I hate more.
All right, so we're gonna begin the show tonight with an apology.
Public apology.
I have lots of things to apologize for, but I'm going to apologize for one thing in particular. If you listen to my
last episode, was it?
No, it's a couple episodes back.
Was it?
Where was it? I got to find it now.
Maybe we should have planned that before you started this public apology.
I probably should. It's
now you're going to have to apologize for the wait.
Now it's not really
about the public apology.
Not really much of an apology. Way back in my 61 to 70, I said my favorite Stefan Feld game was the Oracle of Delphi. Well, in the past, it had been my favorite, but recently, probably in the last couple of years, it's been a while, so I should have probably known, but I don't know. There's another Feld game on the list, and it's coming in at number 30. The reason this one kind of is obfuscated. Is that the right word?
Obfuscated? Hidden?
Yes. Is that it's on the very tippy top of our shelves, and it doesn't look like a Feld game, but it is a Feld game.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
And that is, Amerigo.
Vespucci. This is my number 14.
I know, we love this game.
It's a good game.
This become our favorite Feld. And since my Felds have dropped, hers hasn't. It's way up. What?
It's not my favorite Feld.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's next to my favorite.
That other one that no one likes. Amerigo Vespucci. No, it's just Amerigo. Amerigo is a polyomino game, which is unusual for Feld games. He didn't really dive into the polyominoes.
I know, he did it before it was cool. He's like hipster polyomino
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, this is way back in the days of 2014. So this one is my favorite Feld. I guess it's not her favorite Feld. My favorite Feld, you're on a boat. I like my two favorite Felds, you're on a boat. So you're on a boat traveling around, you're colonizing islands or you're developing islands. What do you ever want to call it? Basically, you're putting polyomino shapes on an island. You're doing kind of an area control there. But the heart of this game is the cube tower, where you're dropping cubes into a tower. What falls out decides what actions you can take on the turn, and the number of cubes potentially whichever has the largest amount of cubes is how powerful all the different actions you have to choose from.
I think that's how I want to plan my days in the future. I'm just going to drop some cubes.
Like I'm going to dishes, laundry, or nap.
This says lots of naps. Excellent.
So it's got kind of a cool action selection mechanism that's driven by cubes. So you're drafting polynomial things. You're putting them on an island. You're getting area control on the islands. All sorts of fun things going on. Our favorite. I enjoy it quite a bit. I like that. That I guess it's almost like turn angst. It's like, gosh, I really want to take the green action. I hope a green cube comes out.
Yeah, it is. It's so true. It's great.
But you're putting each round, you're kind of putting in a different set of cubes into the tower. So like maybe this is the blue round, so you're gonna pick up all the blue cubes and drop them.
The odds of getting blue.
So
the
odds are you're gonna get to take a blue action, but you're hoping maybe some other actions will pop out that you get to do kind of off turn in a way.
Yeah.
Fun little game, great action selection. I like the traveling around. Basically, your boat drives around it that chooses what areas you can develop and things like that. Drafting those tiles, getting crazy victory points for those, all sorts of fun stuff happening. This one's got a lot going on, and I tend to like the Felds that have a lot going on. I also tend to like the unusual Felds. This one's very different from a lot of his games, just like Oracle of Delphi is very different from a lot of his games. Love this one. we've shown off the cube tower 1,000 times, so I'm gonna forego you the pain of me throwing cubes around and making lots of racket. So
Wow, you sick?
watch any of my bazillion videos
Yeah,
that
we
include
plug
this
Amerigo
game,
all the time. It's wonderful.
But it's a fun one. I don't know how in print it is or how hard it is to find it. It's a massive box, but you think it could be a littler box, but that cube tower's pretty beastie, so it kind of takes up a lot of space. Anyway, that is my number 30. My favorite Feld. Apologies to Oracle. Well, apologies to you for mentioning Oracle as my favorite. This is my favorite.
There you
I
go.
hope. Maybe I'll have another apology. I
That
don't
would
know.
be hilarious.
Amerigo. And we always say Amerigo Vespucci.
It's because it's about Amerigo Vespucci.
Vespucci. All right.
Would you like this, Smokey? Have our board game.
Move on to my 29. This is Rebecca's. Is it? If it's not her favorite, it is one or two. It is tippy top of her list. It was my 26 last time, 27 before that, so it's kind of hanging around in the same. No, I got that wrong. Amerigo was 26, 27. This one was 41 and 40 and 36. It's gone up because Rebecca loves this game.
Okay,
and
it's
her
not my number
love,
one.
if it just spills over on me like Nickelodeon slime.
That's a great analogy, Pumpkin. Ew, that doesn't sound gross at all. You're like,
She loves
"Yes,
this
I have
game
to like
so
this
much.
game now."
It influences my love of the game, and I love it. You know what I'm talking about yet?
Gaia Project?
Gaia Project.
Yeah, I was like, it's got to be Gaia Project.
This is your what, 2 or something?
Yes, it's my number 2.
Gaia Project. Who needs terraforming Mars? We got Gaia Project. That's a terraforming Mars. Terra Mystica, Terra Mystica game.
This is just such a good monster-heavy game.
I love it. This one just doesn't hit the table as much, but it's got a lot of things I like in it. You got
Tech trees,
It's got tech trees. It's
space,
got
space map.
and it's got basically
Federations.
as you build different buildings, your actions become more powerful. I like that. It's got this cool like cube pushing kind of thing where how much actions you get. You're moving these cubes like through a river kind of flowy mana pool thing flowing around to decide actions and what you can take.
I like that.
The different races are somewhat asymmetrical in terms of what planets they prefer over other planets. Some are easy to develop. Some you have to terraform into the type of planets you want. You get, like you said, you have those tech trees you're moving up. It makes your action more powerful. You get to move around more. You can terraform better and things like that. And every round there's a bonus that you're shooting for that you can shoot for to get some extra victory points. And then there's in-game goals. So I like games that give you kind of things to shoot for. You're just not kind of out there doing whatever you want. You can do that, but you can go, okay, I want to do that, but also I want to go for these goals that give you lots of victory
They give
points.
you a lot of victory points.
And then it has the convoluted colonies at the end that Rebecca that she doesn't like.
I do them. I'm just not as good at them as you
No,
are.
I'm saying that's probably the hardest thing to kind of explain in this game.
Oh, yeah, it's how it works,
How the
yeah.
colonies work,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Love it. It's a quick little game for 2 players. It's like 60 minutes-ish. A little bit
good.
longer, obviously,
And it's
with
good
more players.
two-player, and it's good with more players. It's one of those that's good at every player count.
It's a good one. I love it. We've played Terra Mystica. She kind of got a demo of it and didn't like it. I got a demo and didn't like it, but it was a bad demo. But I've played it since. I played it on Board Game Arena, and it reinforced that I don't like it as near as much as I do Gaia Project.
Oh, okay.
And I don't see any reason for me anyway to have both because they're very similar games. This one kind of focuses in on the tech tree a little more and maybe less so the map part. It's got a lot going on the map too, but this one really focuses in on those tech trees. Love it. She loves it more. It's one of her all-time favorites. This is Rebecca's game. It's not my game. It's Rebecca's game. I'm just here for the fun.
Are you?
And the company.
Yeah.
My 29.
It's a good one. So good.
My 41 last time, so it's gone upsies. It's one of
Excellent.
the ones that went up. Gaia Project.
Good times.
Let's move on to one of the
Had
new games.
by
One of the
all.
2 new games to the list.
New.
This is brand spanking new. The other one's not new, but it's new to me.
Okay.
This is brand spanking new, and this is
Oh, do I even have
Martin Wallace Cube Pushing Greatness. Anno 1800.
Yeah, it's very new. I have it as my number 90 with potential to go up.
And what's surprising, this isn't really your style of game.
No.
You still enjoyed it quite a bit.
I liked it.
This
a
is basically
lot.
an engine building game. It's almost weird. It's almost like a tech tree because you go out and
Yeah.
you develop a certain product, maybe like
Soap.
pigs. And then you take the pigs and you use the oil from the pig to make soap. And then you use the soap to make something else. And eventually you're using pigs to make buildings. I don't know.
First the pigs, next the
You
world.
end up with sewing machines and things like that. So basically, you're getting almost these products that you can produce, and you can actually borrow from your neighbors and use their products to
It's
combo.
very Seven Wonders kind of, right?
Yeah,
The way that works.
Yeah, you're using those products to get better products. You're going out to the colonies and getting resources that way. But what's kind of drives this game, there's two little things that I find very interesting in this game. One is the workers. You have all these workers, and you use those to go take certain kinds of workers to activate different kinds of buildings. You may need red workers for this one or blue workers. They have a lot of names. But what's cool is you start out with just a handful of workers, but to get more workers, you have to take contract cards. So basically, you say, I want some more workers.
So
I need to
weird.
take these contracts. And the thing is, the only way you end the game is to finish all your contracts. That triggers the end of the game. So as you get more workers, you're getting more work to do to finish the game, which is really cool. It's kind of a balance. How many workers do I want to get? Because I'm making it harder on myself as I get more workers, but making it easier on myself because now I got more workers to do things. So it's a balance. At some point, you got to shift gears and start completing those contracts and stop getting workers.
Yeah.
Really cool game. I find it very interesting. I've never played. This is based on a video game. I've never played any of the Anno.
Anno, if it's Latin,
I don't know.
which it is.
Ugh, it's definitely not Latin. Why do you keep throwing your pen cap at me?
That's all I have.
It's based on a video game series that I haven't played. I'm actually interested in trying one out to see what it's like. But yeah, it's very much an engine builder, almost a resource
I
management.
kind of want to check out the video game now because of this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This
So
is good.
yeah, resource management. Yeah, I just love it. It's a good one. It's a kind of a bear to set up. You got all these stacks and
Oh my
stacks
gosh,
and
so
stacks
much.
of different.
It's worth it though. It's so worth it.
It is. It's a really cool game. I enjoyed it. We played it 2-player. We played it with more than two. It worked well both ways.
Mm-hmm.
2 players got kind of a little bit of a trick up how the trading works, but love it. It's a new game. If you like engine building, heavy engine building games with a lot going on, this is a good one. Surprising. I watched a preview of it, a playthrough of it, and I was like, oh, I might like that. I played it, and whoa, I didn't like it because it jumped in on my list, brand new, at 28.
Yeah, it jumped up really high. That's good. Good game.
All right, let's move on to my 27. It dropped a little bit, only dropped from 24 to 27. Same
Okay.
ballpark. It was 15, 20, 24, 27, slowly decreasing down the list because there's some new games up top that are pushing it down. But if you look, I know this is weird logic, there's lots of new games above it, more so than the number it dropped. So
Interesting. Okay, that
so
tells
it
you it's a
kinda
good game.
almost went up relative to the older games in
Yeah.
the list.
Yeah.
Way too much information there.
Yeah, I was like,
But it's funny. This game. Someone on the Dice Tower Facebook cruise list wrote a post that said, "What game did you play on the cruise that you bought while you were still at the cruise?" And this is one of the games that did that. We learned this on the Dice Tower cruise, and halfway through the game, I went on my phone
did you
and
really?
purchased the game,
Oh, that's funny.
and that is Vinos.
Oh no, that was BGG Cruise.
Oh, was it BGG cruise?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a Dice Tower cruise. You're right. You're
Yeah.
totally right. It was the Board Game Geek cruise.
Because I was like, we would not play that long of a game on the cruise with children.
Yeah, you're right. This is totally a Board Game
Oh
Geek
yeah, this
cruise.
is my number 9, and we love
this game.
Oh wow.
The Lacerdas are creeping up my list, and this one it moved up.
Yeah,
a
this is
little
my
bit.
favorite Lacerda. This is my
It
favorite.
is not my favorite Lacerda. If you're following at home, I've gone through all of them, but one, I believe.
Dun dun dun.
One left. What is it?
I know what it is.
What is it?
I know what it is now.
Vinos. It's awesome. We played this game. Like I said, it was. You're right.
was-
You're totally right. It's the BGG cruise because I actually have a picture of me sitting in one of the deck chairs,
Reading the
reading the
rules.
rules while we're driving along in the ocean.
Yep.
And then we turned around and played it on one of the tables on the deck and it's the inside the
Inside, it was one of the ones
wasn't-
outside of the
but-
wind and area. Yeah.
But
That was fun.
I loaded up and played it, and like halfway through the game, I'm like, how do I buy this game? Because this was our first. Was this our first? No, this wasn't our first Lacerda. But
No, but we only had, I think, the Gallerist at that
yeah,
time.
I think so. We did. I think so. We too.
Maybe Lisboa.
Because we wanted to try another one, and we tried this one.
And we were like,
We were kind of hesitant
"What?"
because we love viticulture. Like, why do we need to play another winemaking game? But this one's a completely different beast than viticulture.
Yeah, it's like if viticulture turned into a big, fat, heavy Euro.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
But this one's awesome. This is the deluxe version. You get the original Vinos and the new kind of streamlined version of the game as well. You get both. Games. You got double-sided boards. The deluxe edition, you can play the older, kind of longer game, and then you can play the newer, kind of streamlined version of it as well.
Which one did we like best?
The newer one. The older one adds in banking. It's kind of
That's right.
convolutes it a little bit. Well, in our opinion, it adds something that's not necessary.
Yeah.
But we love this game. It's awesome. It's just like Lacerda games. It's a beast to teach. But once you get going, it's pretty easy to play. You just have a little pawn or something, and there's a 3x3 grid of actions, and you're moving that pawn around, taking one of those actions. And there's some rules on how you move, and you can't go to where someone else is without paying money or something like that. But there's a way you move around in that grid. You're basically getting vineyards. You're hiring workers for the vineyards. You're looking at the weather, and certain types are going to be good and not bad and not good. You're going to a fair and showing off your wines. You're exporting the wines. You're selling the wines locally. You're doing all sorts of fun stuff. It takes viticulture and maybe kind of pulls back, because viticulture is more like you're in the
You are the vineyard.
kind of in the weeds. You're growing the grapes. You're making the wine. This one's kind of pulled back. You're owning vineyards in different
This is
regions.
your empire. Yes,
Yeah,
of all it.
it's more robust, more of an economic game than viticulture is. But we love this one. One of our favorites. Not my favorite, but her favorite. It's like scratching at the top 10. But yeah, we love this one.
Yeah,
We fell in love with this one, like I did anyway, immediately. Like,
Yeah.
like two or three turns in, I'm like, I want this game. Love it. Love Vinos. It is my number 27. It was 24 last time. So same general area. It got pushed down just a hair because there's a lot of new games above it.
A lot going on.
Speaking of new games, it is the number 26 is a new game to me.
Okay.
It's not a new game. It's a new one. We played it. I guess last summer, I want to say, and I got to play it at a convention as well, and I ended up ordering it, but it's kind of in a reprint mode at this point, but we'll get it someday, and that is The Great Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Splatter Goodness. This one is, I guess, like I don't want to say, maybe a tile placement kind of game. You basically have this map, and there's rules on how you develop different areas of the map. You develop certain workers that have certain powers. You have secondary and primary workers and all this other stuff, but it really got an interesting mechanisms on how you produce goods and how your materials transport between different locations. So maybe the potter needs a certain amount of clay within a certain area, and once I use a specific clay resource that's printed on the map to make my pottery, she can't use it in a later turn. So turn order in this game is extremely valuable. You actually bid for turn order, which is a large part of the game. You can get superpowers basically, and one of the cool things I like about it, one of the things that really interests me, is that you have a certain number of victory points to win. Let's say it's 20 or 30, I can't remember the exact number. But you can get superpowers. You can kind of draft or purchase superpowers that can will add victory points, but it makes you get a really cool power. So maybe there's one power adds 6 victory points to what I need to win. So she needs 20, but I got the superpower, but now I need 26 points to win. Yeah. There's actually one that actually does nothing for you and reduces the number of victory points you need.
Nice.
And there's also, on top of that, there's other things you can draft that adds victory points to the game. So it's your choice how you want to combo your superpowers and how much you want victory points you want to go for to win the game. So it's really cool game. It's another splatter in the sense that the rule set is relatively short, but super complicated in terms of how those rules interact
Yeah.
with each other and your choices and decision making and how much do I bid for turn order and what superpower do I take? What's going to combo well? When you develop these products, I potentially can make pottery, and she can use that pottery for another thing, and I can choose how much to sell my pottery to her for. So if you want to utilize my thing, she has to pay me a certain money. So there's an economy system based on how much you charge for the different products. It's a really great game. I'm finding I am loving Splotter games.
Now, have you played that one more than once?
I played it at a convention. We played it once.
We played it, yeah, because I'm saying
And
I've only played it once.
I played it at a convention.
Okay, because I think it's got some potential if I get to play it again. I want to play it again.
If you recall, we played a rule wrong.
Yeah, and I think that would make a difference too. That's another reason I want to play it again.
Twice. I think we played it once with the rule wrong, and we played it again with the rule correct.
Did we? Okay.
And then I played it at a convention as well.
Okay. I want to play it again because if I recall...
Well, it's on pre-order.
That's
and
exciting.
It'll be here someday.
I can't believe I heard you just say the words "I."
You have to
pre-order in the same
Splotter
sentence,
games. You have to pre-order.
I know,
because
because
Splotters are out of print before they become to retail.
Yeah.
The pre-orders of Splotter games usually take up the entire print run.
That's crazy.
So if you don't pre-order it, you're not getting it.
Yeah, because there's
pretty
small
much.
Potato
There's some exceptions. Food Chain Magnate was in retail stores for a while.
Well,
and you can still kind of find them occasionally in stores, but for the most part, if you want a Splotter game, you have to pre-order it before it's reprinted.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but of course, we played that rule wrong that I remember. So, it wasn't as punishing though what you did your first couple turns like it was for Food Chain Magnate.
It can be.
Can it? Okay.
Where you put your products in relation.
Oh,
to
that's right. In relation to other people. Yeah, that's right. So you have to be careful with it. I just don't feel like it was quite as bad as Food Chain Magnate for starting.
This is just my gut. This may be one of the, quote, most easygoing Splotter games in terms of how mean it is. But it can be mean because...
Oh, yeah. I remember distinctly that it was. I just don't remember being as bad.
I wouldn't call Splotter games Euro games because they're so mean. They're very cutthroat.
They are.
But this one, relative to the other ones, isn't quite as mean. Yeah. But... That is my 26, a new game. It will have it someday.
Cool.
Let's move on to my 25. Remember we mentioned Vinos, and we said it was a more robust, meaty viticulture?
Yes. You like viticulture still better than Vinos? Good.
Viticulture!
Yeah! This is my number one. This is my favorite.
It was my favorite way back in the dark ages.
It was for quite a long time, too.
No, not a long time, was it?
Yeah, several. It was a few times. It was up in your top 5 with me for a while.
In 2015, it was 1, then it was 3, then it was 7, then it was 13, then it was 9, then it was 13 again, and now it's 26.
Wow.
Took a little bit of a dive just because, like I said, in ad nauseum.
Don't look at me.
You're the grammar executive this show. I'm liking games with a lot of things going on. And this one doesn't have... This is pretty much what I would call a traditional Euro game where you're doing your worker placement, you're getting some resources, you're doing stuff. It's got some trixies in there.
Yeah.
Trixies, hobbits. Anyway, I love viticulture. It's still one of my faves. It just kind of... Seems like games that we've played a ton kind of took a little bit of a dive. That's just me.
Because, that's the thing, because that's my shtick. I love to replay games over and over and over again. I like to reread books and stuff, too. And you are not, you were like, I want to go on to the new, try the new stuff. So it's actually a testament to just how good this game is that you've played it a million times and you still have it in your top 26. I mean,
so I'm an explorer and you're a hermit. That's what you're saying.
A hermit? Sure, I guess so.
I love viticulture. It's a worker placement game. We only play with all the Tuscany stuff, not all of it, but much of the Tuscany stuff thrown in. We love there's 2 types of boards. There's kind of the 2-season board, and then there's the 4-season board, and we like that.
Why would you go back?
We like all the bells and whistles of all the different stuff. We have the original, not the original, but we have the
here we go.
The viticulture in Tuscany. There's all these essentials and all this other stuff. Teach their own.
We got the OG.
We don't have the OG because
that's true. The OG was a little bit different.
The OG viticulture.
That's true.
Didn't have the grande worker.
It didn't. What?
Yeah, the OOOG, like the original.
The OOOG.
The OG of the OGs. OG. Anyway, I still love viticulture quite a bit. It's like I said, it's just taking a dive because this is probably one of our most played Euro games.
Yeah.
I would say
That's a pretty
if
safe
it's
bet.
not
That's
our
a pretty
most
safe bet.
if it's not our most played Euro game,
It's gotta be close.
Way up to the top. And I say Euro because there's like party games and things like that we've played a bazillion times.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this, in terms of meaty games, this may be our most played game. But I still love it. I still think it's great. I still think this is should be people's first.
Love.
Well, yeah, but worker kind of heavier worker placement game. I mean, I tell a lot of people say that like Lords of Waterdeep should be your starter worker
Nah, you
placement.
can do this
Or
one.
Stone Age. This is kind of maybe next step worker placement above that. If you play the original Viticulture, it's right there with Waterdeep in terms of complexity.
We have it in our expansion box because we like to.
And just so I can say it, it's chock-a-block,
what is with you?
full of stuff.
You and your chock-a-blocks.
So that's my number
Such a good game.
27. No,
Lovely
not 27.
Tuscany
25. My number
viticulture.
25 used to be my favorite game of all time, but now it's sadly not my favorite game of all time. But that's okay. Let's move on to another Euro game that's kind of taking a little bit of a dipsy. It was my number 6 way back in 2017, then 12, then 18, then 20, now 24. So it's slowly dropping just because new stuff's coming in above it.
I have a lot of my top games here.
And this is what I say when I say my favorite deck builder. You know, when I talked about Core Worlds, this is like not really a deck builder, but even now it's not my favorite deck builder, even if you consider it a deck builder.
Oh wow!
But this is
Oh,
Great Western Trail.
where do I have Great Western Trail?
My number 24. You don't like this near as much as I do.
I don't, but I do love this game. I love this game. It's a lot of fun. And like you said, what was it you said earlier? That your love for the game washes over me like Nickelodeon slime.
That's gross. Who would say something like that? Great Western Trail. This is a great little Euro game. It's got some deck building aspects to it. You start with a hand of crappy cows, and your goal is to make your hand more viable and get rid of the crappy cows, and now we have good cows left and things like that. You're trying to, basically it's almost, I wouldn't say it's a rondelle, but it's like you're moving along this track and you're taking actions. You're stopping at buildings.
You're taking the trail.
Taking various actions in order to maximize your hand. So at the end of the trail, when you complete it, you want a hand of cards, but you want a hand of unique cards and of most valuable cards. So you want the best cows, but you don't want duplicates because duplicates don't count. So if you have 3 of one cow, you only get counts as 1 of that cow. And that's going to be your income, and then you're moving along this track. You're moving and delivering the cows at various locations. You're building buildings. You're collecting different workers. I guess they make your actions more powerful. They're not really workers in terms of putting them on the board.
Assistants.
You're completing contracts that score at the end of the game. So many fun things going on. I like this game. I've never really dove into building lots of buildings. Back here, that's a good way to play. There's like several different ways to play. I usually try to do the cowboy. I go the cowboy method where you get lots of cows and purchase lots of cows and stuff like that.
You've also played the engineer.
I did do the engineer last time, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
I haven't really done the craftsman where you get.
I did once. It
lots
was
of
pretty
building.
good. Yeah.
But anyway, so there's 3 really kind of ways to play the game. There's like the getting lots of cows and getting the high point cows and doing that. There's building lots of buildings, getting points that way. And then there's the engineer where it helps you really move that train along the track and get all kinds of bennies and cool points and junk like that. Love it. Great Euro game. This is the old 90-minute sweet spot Euro. Love it. Not very good at it, really. Not very good at this one. This one took me, this is one of the ones where I lost like 5 or 6 times in a row before I finally won or something.
Yeah, you know what it took for you? The expansion, because I destroyed you at it until the expansion. And then for whatever reason.
The expansion.
Yeah.
Nah.
The expansion hates me. And
Yeah, this is
you.
one of the ones that for the longest time I loved this game to death, but I just could not. It just did not click, I guess, in my head.
Oh,
or maybe
it
I was
did,
maybe I was
well.
trying weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird path to victory, or I don't know what I was doing.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm enamored with the crappy cows, and I don't like the good cows. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
There's a brand new version of this game. It's Great Western Trail 2nd edition that kind of tricks some stuff up and streamlines some things and looks a little bit better. Doesn't have this weird psychotic looking artwork on the front of it. So
What's wrong with that? They're on the trail and they're dusty. Okay, I don't know about the creepy engineer guy.
Exactly.
He's plotting your death. The carpenter guy just looks like he's been doing a lot of overtime. He's cranky.
Anyway, love me some Great Western Trail. He is cranky. Love some Great Western Trail. Number 24 is my 20 last time. So same general neighborhood.
Yep, it's my 45.
She does love it, even though she destroys me. Not lately. I've been winning a lot lately.
Yeah, it's stupid expansion.
I'll play you without the expansion.
And then
I'll lose.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to my number 23. Another game I don't own. 2 games I don't own. This one is sadly out of print because it is that one that I talked about where you got to jump in on the pre-orders.
Another Splotter. Oh, I don't know.
It's another Splotter. This is my favorite Splotter. I got to play this one at Board Game Geek Con.
Okay, I was going to say
So Rebecca didn't attend Board Game Geek Con, so I said, I'm playing crazy, heavy monster games the whole time.
Yep,
and I knocked out Zimbabwe
out.
and Indonesia and loved them both. I had such a great time playing both of them. Won, didn't win the other, but that doesn't really matter. Yeah. Indonesia is a much more economic game. So in Indonesia, you are basically I guess investor in corporations. So there's all these different kinds of corporations. There's different kinds of goods. There's rice and things, and different resources and things. But there's this map. It all's driven on this map, and you're going out and creating delivery companies, and you're trading and trading ownership of different companies. And it's just a big giant economic game with a map aspect, which I really love. You're basically your little company, like you may have a little rice company, and you're slowly expanding, kind of like an amoeba. You're growing across the map and taking over areas. Eventually, you'll bump into other places, and you're kind of limited on what you can and can't do. You're trying to deliver your goods, so you can own delivery companies, or you can use other people's delivery companies. They get a little piece of the action when your goods are delivered to market. We played a really weird, this game usually has a really big build-up arc, but the way our game works, and every game of Indonesia seems to be very unique. Ours was a very constricted game. There wasn't a lot of development, so you had to kind of work within the space that was out there. There wasn't a lot, this big build-up of big delivery companies and big corporations. You just kind of had to work with what it was. What's really cool about this game is that you can trigger these people to merge. Like basically you could say you have a rice company and Fred over here has a rice company. I have the ability to say, okay, you guys they're merging, and you guys, now there's a big bidding war on who gets the final company. So there's all this bidding, and how much is it worth to take over the corporation? Maybe you just want to get your cash and get out and let the other person have that company.
Okay, interesting.
It's got all this. It's very much not really a stock market, because you don't own stock in the company. It's ownership of companies, but it feels like a stock market game in terms of how it works. Really, really cool economic game, but super cutthroat, super like all the Splotter games. It's really, you can like just throw wrenches in people's things. Like, I'm building up my little corporation. I'm doing good. Nope. You two gotta merge. And you're like, no, I don't want to.
So mean.
So there's actually you develop power. You upgrade skills and how you can merge things and do different actions and stuff. And you have to have a certain amount of merge skill or development, or however you want to look at it, to be able to merge certain corporations. If they get big enough, it's really hard to merge into them, because you got to have such a high skill to do it. But yeah, it's a fun little economic game. It is mathy like crazy, because you're really thinking about how much, if we're merging, how much am I willing to pay? Am I going to make, if I spend $100 to take over the company, am I going to make that money back at the end, right? Am I going to make a profit by doing that, or is it better just to get out of the game? Love it. Favorite Splotter game. It is one of my favorites. It is all the way up at 23. Rocketed up from 74.
Wow.
Because I played it once and I enjoyed it quite a bit, but then I didn't play it for the longest time.
Yeah. And then you got to
I got to play it again, and it flew up my list. It was such a great play. I really enjoyed it. It reminded me how much I love it, but it was way down in the. It was a 74 last time, 105 before that, so it's kind of been way down there, but I got to play it again. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
Wow.
I
didn't realize it's been that long that you've played that. I didn't realize it had been that long since you'd played it and
At
all
least I think 2 or 3 years since I last played it.
that. Yeah.
And I want it, but I really it's out of print and secondhand. It's
hard to
it's
get a
going
hold of.
for a ridiculous amount of money, so it's not worth that much. It's going to be until I can get a hold of until it gets reprinted. It's going to be kind of a convention only kind of game, probably.
Yeah.
That's my number 23.
Nice.
Indonesia.
So what you got? Almost
Right.
only a couple left.
Let's move on to my favorite Lacerda game.
Oh,
Not
okay.
Vinhos.
Nope. Let me see where it is on
My
mine.
favorite Lacerda game.
It's funny. I don't like it as much as you.
No, and it's funny because it has a space theme. You would think.
I know. Usually that just sends me.
I thought for sure this would be your favorite Lacerda. On Mars.
Yeah, I'll probably play it again and it'll go up.
On Mars.
It's my 96.
So
funny.
good.
It's still my top 100. It is really good.
Top 100.
Another
This is
solid.
one of the best games ever. So it was my 17 last time, 22 this time. Same general area. Again, new games are kind of pushing some of these games down the list a little bit. Love on Mars.
Solid.
This is probably the most complicated Lacerda game, I would say.
Yeah.
It's the hardest one to teach. And the
Yeah.
reason is because not only it's a very complicated worker placement game. There's a lot of stuff. There's a board where you're terraforming Mars. There's lots of how those tiles interact and how those play. You got little rovers driving around doing stuff and little robots doing stuff for you. So you got
They
all
have
that to
movement
explain.
rules. Yeah.
Then you got a pretty complicated player board that has stuff going on, and you're actually technologies you're developing. There's rules on how those technologies work. You can actually utilize other people's technologies potential to do things. Then you have the board, the worker placement board. There's actually 2 sections of worker placement. There's worker placement down on the planet. There's worker placement up in the space station or up in the space, whatever's orbiting the planet. And how those work. And then there's rules on how those things go back and forth. And this sounds like, oh, this is so complicated, it's crazy. It kind of is. But it's so fun.
It is.
I
It's really
love
good.
it. And this
Really good.
And as usual, the Eagle Griffin production is off the charts. There's all these clunky wooden bits. You have wooden little spaceships, wooden little robots, all sorts
Yeah,
of
the
fun
cute little-
stuff.
Little explorer.
2-layer boards with little inserts to put cubes and things into.
Yeah.
Love it. Ian O'Toole art. And it's space.
What space?
What? This is amazing. I love this game so much. I think it would be higher on my list if it was easier to teach and easier
Yeah,
to get to the
I
table.
can get that. Yeah, because
It's just kind of hard to get to the table. And some of my games up the list are probably more complicated than this one, but this one's like you kind of got to take a breath in. All right, let's go. Let's teach this puppy. But I love it. It's so much fun. This is kind of what I wanted Terraforming Mars to be because this one.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
This one.
That makes sense.
Terraforming Mars, you are putting little like grass tiles and cities on the board. I really don't feel like I'm terraforming. I feel like I'm building this engine that cranks out points and stuff like that.
Okay.
This one, I feel like I'm going out
'cause you got
doing
your
stuff
little
on Mars.
robots
You have your
doing
little
stuff. I
robot
gotcha.
driving around
Makes sense.
building stuff, and your little
can see
rover
that.
going out and exploring. And it just feels like you're doing more Marsy stuff than terraforming Mars. That's why this one's higher on the list. And I love Lacerda. I love Eagle Griffin's production. I love Ian O'Toole art. Bam! As I say, bam!
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
It's pretty good. All right, love this game. I would not suggest this is your first Lacerda. This one's a beast. Unless you find someone that knows the game well and can teach you.
Yeah, there's that too.
But as for learning your first Lacerda, this is probably not the way to go. This is, in my opinion, the most complicated Lacerda game.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's my favorite. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it.
So do you like this game?
I love this game. I am waiting for the Lacerda marathon, and that will be the pièce de résistance. How did I do?
Not that great, but
Oh,
it's okay.
All the French people were crying in their
Yes,
in their what were they? Baguettes.
Oh my gosh! And this is when you watch Hunter get struck by lightning on film.
What's? Oh. I was gonna say beret.
You're making it so much better.
Hey, I can make fun of myself. I'm a goofy Texan, so it's all good. Now remember 22, 17 last time on Mars.
Oh, now, what's the ender for this one? What's our?
the ender may be a bit deceiving.
Why is this?
Because it's Deception!
I see what you did there. Knee
Word.
slapper. Okay.
Words.
So,
Deception Murder Hong Kong. This is one of my favorite games.
My number 4. It's my most played game by a mile. I've played like 75 games.
This was my 12 last time, so it took a little bit of dropsies, but that's okay.
How dare you?
This, like I said, this is the year. This is the year of
repeat games or
the heavier games that have a lot going on are kind of moving up. The kind of one-note games are moving down. And
did you just call this game one note?
And the games I've played a bazillion times are kind of dropping a little bit too. But I still love this game. This is probably my favorite. Well, it's not probably. It is my favorite quote party style game. It's my favorite big player count game. I can't say enough about it. It is great. That's
so good.
I've never sat down and played one game of this. It's always been 3, 4, 5, 6 plays of it at a time.
Yes.
If you don't know, if you're not familiar with Deception Murder in Hong Kong, this is the expansion box, so it might look a little weird to you. This is a social deduction game where one person is a quote murderer. You have a display of cards in front of every player. It has 4 weapons, 4 things left at the scene of the crime. The murderer is going to pick one of each of those and secretly, and then there's a forensic scientist that's kind of trying to guide the players to figure out who the murderer is and what the items are. Not only do you have to figure out who the murderer is, you have to figure out specifically which 2 items that person chose. There's, like in a lot of the social deduction games, there's all these roles. There's a witness that kind of knows what's going on. There's an accomplice that's helping the murderer, and then the expansion adds in either more tricked up roles for the high upper limits of the player counts. But what's interesting, the forensic scientist is kind of like games like Mysterium and games like that. He's giving clues, but they're kind of silent, indirect clues, right? He's not really saying.
It's almost like you're not really a person. It's just you're the test results. You know, like you're getting the lab results back or something, right?
And they're very obscure. So I might pick a pickaxe and an ashtray as my 2 items, and the friends might have to choose what time of day is it. So. But some of them are very obvious. It's like, where are you? And you'd say outdoors, maybe for the pickaxe. But then it throws the ashtray out the window, right? So it's all this.
They don't know which thing you're giving clues for,
you're
right?
giving clues for. There's 2 items, 2 things you have to point people at, and you can't say which one it's for. So you may actually lead people astray. So that forensic scientist is kind of the game master in a kind of way. He kind of controls how the game works.
You follow their conversations, see where they're going, and try to sway them in the right direction, you know.
But it is a great social deduction. You like this one for the fact it's not really in your face. It can be, but it's not in your face social deduction.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of social deduction games are like
very confrontational.
Like, why did you make that choice?
I mean, you could, but usually everybody's all sitting away from each other, and you've got like these cards between you, and a lot of times it's all in the conversation. And you have like your right-hand man, your accomplice, that usually does all the going to bat for you. Right. So usually you're just like, what are you talking about? And then the other guy's like, well, maybe it's blah, blah, blah. You know, they're going to dive in and hopefully help either implicate themselves or someone else at the table. And it's hijinks and hilarity.
This is one of the best introductory social deduction games.
It's fantastic.
Kind of,
I introduce this to my students every year after finals. It is always successful. It's so much fun.
One. If you're looking for a game that plays up to 14 players,
14 players
with the expansion.
12 with the original.
This plays just a ton of players. I haven't ever even played. I don't know if I've even played with the expansion roles.
You have not. I have played with 1 or 2.
We've used all the expansion cards and things like that, but I haven't played with any additional roles because I've mostly played this in the 5, 6, 7.
That's true. You don't play it at the upper top.
I haven't played it in the big high player counts. This is when you bring in those other roles.
Yep.
Love it.
It's worth it though.
My favorite social deduction game, my favorite party game, my favorite high player count game. I can't say enough about this.
Such a good.
Again, the only reason it's dropped. The only thing I can say is the only reason it's dropped is I've played this. You've played this probably 100 times. I've played it
75.
I've played it probably 30, 40 times. Yeah. So it's other than like games I played when I was a teenager, like Spades and Hearts and
it's like
that.
You haven't played
this
it
is
that
by
much,
far
right?
my most played board game, modern board game, however you want to say it, non generic board game because I probably played Risk more than this. I
Oh,
probably
yeah,
played
yeah.
Monopoly
You probably
more
have
than
a few
this
out there, but
when I was a kid. But this one's by far of the modern games I played. This is my most played game. There might, like I said, there might be some party games in there somewhere that I played more, like maybe Pit or something like that. But anyway, love this game. It's great. Got to get it. Got to try it. Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
woo woo.
That is it. That is it for this time. That was my 21. Creeping down my list a bit, but it's still hanging on strong compared to the beasts. I say beasts that are above it. Ooh, it is like the Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. The rest of the way, we're looking at some massive heavy games.
Heavy hitters.
Big boys coming up. Speaking of big boys, let's go ahead and preview my 20 to 11. 4 new games in this group.
Wow, this high up.
4 new games.
Wow.
In my next set of 10. Wow. And I bet they're all, the rest of them are dropsies. That one dropped, that one dropped. Oh, one went up. One went up. 2 went up. So, a mixed bag among the...
But a lot of new ones this high up. That's intriguing.
4
Okay.
brand new games. And some of them are like really brand new. Bye!
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Click subscribe to join our wonderful viewer community.
Want to be notified when we upload a new video or go live? Click on the little bell below.